So my question for chapter 24, which title is A Knight Errant, is like, Tara mentioned that her mother gives her medicine when she says that she is taking penicillin. So does she thought that mother is only caring about the penicillin, but not her health. So my question is, does mother only cares about the penicillin, which is against Mormon, or does she thinks that actually penicillin might be not good to Tara, so she wants Tara to be fine?
I think it could be a mix of both. As we know from previous chapters, her mother actually cares a lot for Tara, and sometimes her mother might show up more than her father does. And I think that her mother, like according to Mormon religion, the pills are like really bad for you, other than just against their religion. So like by like giving her the pills, they might be like to get the drugs out of her and to protect her. Because, I don't know, they said that your tongue might fall out, something bad will happen.
So is there any other comments?
Richard, does that answer your question?
Yes, you did.
Okay, Rex seems to have a question to share.
So my question is Dad faking his death, or is he seriously dying?
All right, for this one, if you have read the later chapters, you cannot say anything. Only those of you who haven't read the future chapters.
I think Dad is probably like not faking his death, because it was Audrey who was like calling her, and she said that was an accident. But she also like mentioned that if you leave right now, you can say goodbye. So it was Dad probably got into like a very serious injury, and that could like lead to death. But they didn't know that if he could live or not. Does that answer your question, Rex?
Yes.
Although I've read later chapters, but yeah, it just doesn't care about that. Just focus on this chapter. Like you can, from Andrew's words that you can say goodbye, shows that they actually thinks that Dad can live through that accident right then. So if that was faking, how could it be? It looks so serious to Andrew. So yeah, I think it's true.
But maybe Audrey is faking with her dad. Like there are a lot of like conflicts between father and child, and fathers like fake their symptoms and force their child to go back.
To go back for what?
To see them.
But why would Audrey help Dad? She has no
Because
incentive.
her dad wants her to help, like, get her back.
Audrey has no direct incentive to help him.
Maybe just an act of kindness.
Can I add to what Jenny said? Like, she has no sense. Jesse, sorry, Jesse. what JC says, Audrey has no incentive to help Dad. Like, Dad didn't really do anything. And it kind of won't benefit Audrey in any way. Like in a private, like in a market system. No. The incentive for private firms is profit. That's why they put products at the lowest cost. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, my question is answered.
So, who wants to raise another?
How about we hear from someone who hasn't spoken yet?
Should I just ask it? Sure. I can just
So the title of the chapter, and not Errant. So, what do you think it means?
Good question.
anyone? Because I seriously don't know.
It's okay to have some silence.
I think what the chapter title, A Knight Errant, means is that Dad thought of himself as a knight in shining armor. However, doesn't errant come from the word error? Probably, I assume so. And so it means that it's like a false knight or a wrong knight. He thinks that he's this grand person who's trying to save his family, but in reality he was wrong the whole time. Errant means error. You don't have to look it up. I'm 100%. It's okay. Read out the exact definition. You pick the mic first.
So it's erring or straying from the proper course or standards.
Right, so it means unusual.
And
No.
every synonym is offending, guilty, culpable, misbehaving, delinquent, and lawless.
Exactly, delinquent. Lawless. Yeah.
Exactly.
After Tara reads the true story about Randy Weaver, I'm not sure if it's absolutely true because, yeah, the government sometimes change it also, but the story that was reported of Randy Weaver, she felt angry about that, and she had said to him that, wait, let me find what is it? She asked, like, why are you like this? Why did you terrify us like that? Why did you fight so hard against made-up monsters but do nothing about monsters in your own house? So I think this some kind of link to the title. I mainly agree with Zal's idea here, like, he sees himself as the knight, but actually, he's the errant knight. He's doing, like, he is not the knight, he's actually the monster.
Yes.
Okay, so it's everything with the answer from the meeting. Okay, so at the end of the chapter, as we already discussed before, there's been mention about her dad, and as we know before, she's fled from Moscow, and hasn't returned in a while. So like, what attitude do you think Tara will have towards her father when she gets home?
I guess mainly angry, and because I just mentioned those quotes earlier, so I won't say that again. But yeah, after she read what's reported by the government about Randy Weaver, and she got angry about Dad saying or terrifying the whole family by the story of Randy Weaver. So. And also, she learned about bipolar, and she thinks that she understands that bipolar causes harm to Dad, but she thinks that Dad also caused much more harm, and the price that they pay for bipolar is too much. So she is shouting at Dad after she got home. So it's pretty much angry, I guess.
I think she'll like test Dad because Dad is after all like her dad, and they have like feelings. Like Dad has like been like taking care of Tara when she was small, although he's been really strict. But I think that she'll probably be really sad. But it depends if it's like a joke or a fake, then she'll probably be angry.
I think Taro felt like kind of feeling being stabbed in the back by her family because her dad was telling her all the fake stories. At least Tara believes they're fake for the whole time. And also, as Richard had mentioned, she believed that her dad had caused more harm to his family, including himself, due to the bipolar disorder. So I believe that Taro felt both sad and upset.
Jenny, does this answer your question? Okay, so do you guys think, from your interpretation of the last paragraph, that Tara will leave to say goodbye to Dad, or will she not? Because Audrey was like, come back. There's been an accident. So will Tara go?
I think she will go back. Because it's similar to the situation with Sean. Even if he causes harm to her, she'll still go back. So I think it's like a similar situation in this case. And plus, it's a matter of like life or death situation. If she don't go back this time, she'll never be able to.
Yeah, I agree.
I also agree that they will come back. Tara will come back. It's because like Tara hasn't stopped seeing Bugspeak as home. There was many conflicts between Tara and her family before, and each time she left and she got angry and whatever, she comes back again. Although this time it looks that she got really mad and upset by her family, but I think this is not a sign that she has stopped seeing Bugspeak as her home. So if somebody at your home was hurt and is almost dead, I think still goes back. And also, if Tara has already got absolutely have no emotion with her family, then if somebody that you know was going to die, I think it's normal for you to go back and have a look, at least.
Yes, but even so, it was her family that ruined her childhood. Like, she discovered her dad just had bipolar disease, and it was this disease that dad had. And it was this disorder that dad had, which basically forbid her of having all the opportunities she could have had in her childhood. And also on the 5th page, it says that I just didn't feel like seeing him or hearing his voice, so I didn't. And it says that she wanted to experiment with normality. So that was basically, normality would basically be away from her family.
I agree with Weishin's idea, as we have learned from the previous chapters that Tara seemed like to be an immature and kind of emotional kid. I talk her as a kid. She is a kid because she had been really upset about her family and her dad in this chapter because of the case of Randy Weaver. And as Weishin had mentioned, that Tara said, I just didn't feel like seeing him or hearing his wife, so I didn't. So I believe that Tara won't go back to her dad at this time, but she will definitely be regret at some time.
I think that Carol will go back, but because this is a farewell, and if you don't, if the message chances, it'll be like, you'll regret it for your life. So I think she'll go back to the comfort with her parents, and yeah.
Do you guys still remember the questions we did on reflection on chapter 23? Like there's one question about, did Tara talk about why is the word home in italics? And we can see it that Tara, she doesn't really take Buck Peak as her home anymore. And she took the another world as her home, at least for now. So Buck Peak isn't really a home or a place that she should go back if there's someone died there, at least for Tara at this situation.
Okay, just one quick reminder before you continue. When you speak, eye contact is very important. Okay, so make eye contact with everyone, to the crowd. Okay, it helps you to grab attention.
I doesn't really agree with both Reishin's and William's idea. Like, there's 2 points. The first one is that she doesn't really see Buck's Peak as her home that much as before, but I think she doesn't absolutely leave it because she's now in the middle. She doesn't have her own like family or many friends at the other world. So and Buck's Peak was like old home, although she doesn't like it. But yes, she had lived there for many years. And the second point is Tara do hate Dad a bit, and also she was upset just now. But even at this point, I think there was a sentence that mentioned Tara doesn't really want Dad to die at that moment. Like, I hoped Andre was reading from a different script. If she was like, she's not caring about whether Dad lives or die. Like, I don't think she'll say that.
I want to rebut your first point where you said Tara doesn't have friends. Well, it says that she has Nick, and they held hands, and they're a couple. So basically, your point is she has friends.
And
boyfriend.
And a boyfriend.
I shouldn't say
No, she
more
also
or
said-
later chapters.
She also said I didn't know how to go to drama. I called a friend from class.
Exactly.
I think Richard's main point is like, at least it's what I think. So it's like putting emphasis on the back, the last page. I hope Audrey was reading from a different script. Because she sort of saw it, like there had been an accident. She sort of saw it coming and she didn't want it to happen. So this just proves that she still has like emotions towards like these type of accidents, I guess. Like she didn't want people to leave yet. At least not now. Please don't turn this into a debate.
Sayo, did you want to say something?
I'll just have a point and give it back to Zio. Like, I knew she has friend. I mean, like, because she had went to university for just some years, so and she doesn't know Nick for long. I know they're really good right now, but I mean, a, like a bigger relationship, like with friends and the society around her and whatever needs more than some years to create something that she can seize at home. So the other world will be her home, but it is not her home right now.
No, please. I'm thinking. Could you once again summarize both yours and William's points on why she won't go back? Either of you, please.
I forgot. I have goldfish memory.
Our point was that Tara doesn't take Petsky as her home, and she doesn't take the original family, like Dad, Sean, and her mom, as her family. And now she has a new home, she has a new world to live with, and she has better person. And also she has emotions on her family right now in this chapter. So all these factors are there, which makes her no want to go back.
So from this chapter, we see that she actually never mind. I don't feel like arguing. Too much work.
I'll just say another like. Also, I also doesn't think Tara sees Bugs Peak as her home at this moment. I think she doesn't really has a place that she can call home at this moment. And also, even though she doesn't see Bugs Peak as home, there was like a connection between Tara and Bugs Peak, no matter it is like a good memory or not. So when a part of your childhood life, like I said, no matter good or not, is going to fade away, I think it's normal for a person to go back and say goodbye. It's not about she like Bugs Peak or she likes Sad. It's just about saying goodbye. And also about seeing what had happened to Dad, understanding what the accident is.
Like, kind of with Rich's idea is like it's not about whether she likes Dad or not. It's not about whether she likes Bugs Peak or not. There's still like she just don't want to see Bugs Peak as her home, but there's still like kind of connected. There's still, I mean, Dad has raised her for so many years, and this might be her last chance.
You say Tara will realize that right now. I don't think she.
You can say goodbye.
I don't think
She's going to die.
I don't think she will realize that it's not about emotions. She's emotional. Right? She's still a kid.
So, but what if she didn't go back? She'll miss the like the.
Yeah,
Like, probably she'll miss the last time seeing Dad.
And I think she knows the consequences.
I think she'll realize the consequences
Later,
later on.
and then
Yeah.
regret,
It's
and
gonna
then
hit her
like.
later on if she doesn't go back.
She's definitely going to do regret.
I think one of the best parts of this whole book is how Tara draws contrast from her past towards her future. Like even at BYU now, we see aspects of her past life that was brought up during her childhood being brought up again in order to just show the viewer how much has changed. However, at the same time, there's a lot of comparison between the first and the current chapters we're on now. During that time, I'm pretty sure during Sean's accident, as the last page mentioned, didn't Sean already hit her once before the accident? And he still went to see her. And she still went to see him, right? Because he had asked for her forgiveness, and she had accepted. She had thought it was okay again, right? I think the most interesting part about this is that it's ironic. No, this has nothing to do with Ozymandias, please, I beg. Don't listen to that. The reason why it's ironic is because this whole chapter was about how Dad was making stuff up, was always putting his own family in danger because of his faith. However, now he's the one who's in trouble, he's the one who's in danger, which is what will inspire Tara to come back.
So she's the
So you know.
who's question? Who's question?
Are you satisfied with this?
No, just again, like, I think no matter if she really loves Tara, she likes that and most people are not, it is like I said, there's a connection between them. So if she really wants to leave, for example, leave Buck Peak, there's many, like I think she will still go back and say goodbye, like a formal goodbye to her whole life. So sometimes you can't simply just let a part of her memory just fade away. So if somebody that has a big part in your childhood memory, I think no matter it's good or bad, you have to he's gonna die and you feel I think it's normal for a person to formally say goodbye to that person, although he or she doesn't like the person. So it's kind of to break up the connection between Tara and Bugsby if Tara really wants to. So yeah, I think she will still go back.
Yeah, but you guys think that Tara won't go back? Do you think that Tara should go back?
She definitely should.
I think she should, because if she doesn't, she will regret it for the rest of her life, and it will be bugged very much.
I can say both could or couldn't, because I'm not really sure, because we're not sure that if Dad lives or dies now. If Dad is going to die, she should go back and say goodbye. But if Dad is going to live, I think this is a chance to let her just break away from Dad's control. Like, just tell Dad by her actions that she doesn't like Bugsby and she doesn't want to go back anymore. So yeah.
But how does she know if her dad's back?
So yeah, so that's why I say I'm not sure if she is.
Oh, okay.
Christian, does that answer your question? So I have a question about Tara and Dad. Is that although Tara is know that Dad has nothing to do and like he cannot choose whether he can have bipolar disorder, but like she still like felt more unforgiving and angry toward Dad, and like before she know anything about bipolar disorder, like she showed a lot of hesitation like between Dad and the new world. Like, how does it happen?
I think Tara thinks that feels anger because she thinks it's unfair for her family. they had to go through all of that, and even though she knows that it wasn't decided by dad, but she still felt like unfair how she's like really different compared to other people.
Wait, but do you feel maybe like pity because bipolar disorder wasn't something that dad?
But dad didn't have barely any consequences.
Didn't know he had.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he didn't have any harm done to him. It was the rest of their family that paid for all of the.
Okay, I read about, I read more about bipolar disorder just a few weeks ago, and it's like, it caused like extreme, emotions to the person who had bipolar disorder. So, I think why Tara feels really, angry here is because like she also had sometimes that she had extreme emotions. For example, the time that Sean did something I shouldn't say to her and dragged her onto the street, and but she doesn't really hurt anyone when she had like extreme emotions. But dad didn't try to take control of his emotions. He just let them out and hurt his family and like whoever around him. So I knew that bipolar is a disease, bipolar disorder, but like this disease can also be some part be managed by the person, because trying to manage emotion can really helps a lot. At least trying one's best not to hurt others. But dad, I just see that he tried any bit to control his emotion. Just like I said, all let him out.
Regarding your last point, I think it's easier for someone to manage their emotions, especially during a mood swing caused by bipolar disorder, if they know they have bipolar disorder, or because dad doesn't trust the doctor. I don't think he knows his bipolar either.
So do you believe that is guilty?
Yes, like answering William's question. Because I'll also explain that my attitude toward Klaus, I think that is guilty because he can try to manage his emotions. Like bipolar disorder isn't like swing from one emotion to another for a few hours. It usually is days, shortly is days, longer is weeks or months. So this long, during this time, even dad doesn't know that he has bipolar disorder. If he really loves or cares about his child and his family around him, he should try to control his emotion, because he can see that he is hurting them, but he didn't. So that is not about emotional swing. It's about, did he really try? He can, actually.
How can he try?
Just when you want to punch someone, stop your hand.
That's like telling someone with Tourette syndrome to stop moving. Do you know what Tourette syndrome is?
No.
How do you explain it?
Oh.
Yeah. They can't control themselves.
Okay, I'll also explain some more about bipolar. Like, it doesn't really make that great effect. Like, because for some reason I have learned about it. So it is just to cause like to cause exciting or depressing mood for the person. So in that mood, it's just like normal emotions, but it's the only difference is that it's a bit more than normal emotion, and it is like the mood is not controlled by the person, and it's more easier to happen. Like a small thing can cause the mood to swing, but actually it is still a part of human emotion. So it is still possible to be controlled. Perhaps they can't control as well as the normal person, but they can try.
Let's just forget what bipolar disorder is. Just think about that. First of all, he can't control himself. And second, he's aggressive and mad to his families and children. So do you think that even though he had the bipolar disorder, does that really makes him be able to not feeling guilty to any of his family, or using this bipolar disorder to say that he can control himself? Even though he doesn't have bipolar disorder, I do believe that he can control himself from being violent to his family, because he's believed and he didn't even get educated well, and he's been cruel to his families, and he didn't even care about them. So it's not about bipolar disorder, it's about this guy. He is aggressive and mad people at the first place.
He does do that.
Where?
Dad gave that me in sponge. His mouth sag and his hands humbling the insides, which has been motivated to do something.
Use the mic.
Oh. Oh, and I think
I'm curious, how many of you actually went to Wikipedia to look up Weaver,
look up what?
the incident,
Which the shooting.
the shooting incident? I wanted to, but I forgot. So maybe after this class you can go search it.
他看了。
Is there really an entry on Wikipedia about beavers?
Oh, I think there is.
Yeah, I think it's worth looking into. So after class, I suggest you to go. Yeah, and I think William raised a really good question, whether it's Dad's fault that he treated his family members poorly because of his bipolar disease, and whether Tara's indifference to Dad is reasonable. Do you think you would act, I don't know, like Tara, you would just ignore Dad after you find out that all this is caused by bipolar disease? Do you feel empathy toward Tara? Would you do the same? If you would do the same, a show of hands, raise your hand. Just you will completely just ignore that.
I'll just leave that.
You just leave because he's sick.
我会的。
No, I'm not.
How many of you would not leave that and go seek treatment for that?
I'll be more aggressive on him.
Go what?
Seek treatment for the mental disease. Since this is a disease, right? So maybe there's a cure. Is there a cure for bipolar?
Medicine that can help you control your
And like you can get psychological help.
Right, and given the fact that Tara now is a college student, should she have known better to seek treatment for that, or just ignore him? All right, let's carry on our discussion tomorrow for a little bit. Good job, guys.